Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be my September wrap-up. September had a lot of challenges for me. I was trying to make them all work. I had a plan at the beginning of the month. I had to alter some of that to make it all work, but I think I did pretty good. Out of the 6 challenges that I had, I did not complete one of them. So let's get into the books and see how I did. First book up is The Great Mistake by Mary Roberts Rinehart. This was Kevvie's read-along for September from the 1st until the 10th. This is a murder mystery that is set in the 40s. I enjoyed the setup and most of the ending, but I felt it got really confusing in the middle. There were too many unnecessary twists were thrown in. I did enjoy the way the read-along was constructed on Kevvie's channel, 4 chapters per day and broken down into a conversation for those chapters. And I enjoyed reading everyone's comments and theories as we went along. I rated this book 3 stars. Next up is Truth or Dare by Kevvie Daly. This was the first book in the Castaway Bay series. Sydney Whitmore is an FBI forensic psychologist that moves back home to her family's resort on Shipwreck Island after the death of her partner due to a bad call on her part. She helps the local sheriff and an old colleague solve the mystery of 2 missing teenagers while she's home. Sydney also begins to investigate the assault on an old friend. Her boss asks her to investigate another case while she's taking her vacation. I really enjoyed the family, her sisters, aunt, and nieces. I enjoyed her reuniting with old friends and making some new ones along the way. I gave this book 4.5 stars, which for me to give a cozy book more than 3 is kind of a big deal. Next is Lost and Found by Kevvie Daly. This is number 2 in the Resort at Castaway Bay series. In this one, book number 2 picks up where book number 1 left off. Sydney's working on the case that her boss gave her. She's helping a man regain his memories after disappearing from his home when he was 8. She's also still investigating the attack on her old friend Riley, and during that, she becomes closer with his wife and daughter. She's still teaming up with her old colleague Kelly, as well as a reclusive billionaire, Ezra Reinhold, who takes an interest in cold cases. I gave this cozy mystery 5 stars. Loved it. Can't wait for the 3rd one to come out in October. Next is The Hunting Wives by May Cobb. In this one, Sophie moves from Chicago to small-town Texas with her husband and son. She meets a woman named Margaret and her clique of elite socialites and soon finds herself getting wrapped up in a world of late-night target practice and dangerous partying. When the body of a teenage girl is discovered in the woods where the hunting wives meet, Sophie finds herself in the middle of a murder investigation and her life spiraling out of control. I gave this one 4 stars. Next is Golden Girl by Ellen Hildebrand. In this one, Vivian is a famous author who's killed in a hit-and-run accident. She is living in a limbo of sorts, watching over her family and friends for one last summer. With the aid of her death administrator, she is allowed 3 nudges to change the outcome of events back on Earth. Throughout the book, we follow Vivian as she watches over her 3 children and their friends, her best friend, her ex-husband, his new girlfriend, Vivian's ex-boyfriend, and the police investigating her death. But when a person from Vivian's past brings an old secret to light, it changes the present, and Vivi has to watch her family learn to grow without her. As usual, I love Ellen Hildebrand. This was no different. I gave this book 5 stars, of course. The only thing I thought is this just teetered a little too much on reality and details about Ellen Hildebrand's real life compared to details of Vivian's life. So A little negative, but it doesn't knock it down any points for me. Next is Stabbed in the Baklava by Tina Kashian. In book number 2 of the Kitchen Kebab series, Lucy's family restaurant is catering a high society wedding. The best man gets killed, and Azad, Lucy's head chef and former flame, gets accused of the murder. Lucy and her best friend Katie start sleuthing to find out who's really responsible for his death. This story dragged a lot, repeatedly hashing the restaurant's menu, still debating if we're going to have a love triangle, and the twist to the story was weird. I like how it played into the murderer, but it was still weird. I gave this book 3 stars. The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. This book is billed as Fried Green Tomatoes meets Steel Magnolias meets Dracula, and I think that's pretty accurate. It starts out very lighthearted, women annoyed with their current book club, so they start their own. A handsome stranger comes to town, and it seems the books the ladies have been reading are about to be a real-life true crime in their own neighborhood. The story then takes a dark turn as Patricia investigates the new guy and realizes they've invited a monster into their home. I gave this book 4 stars. And the last book I read for September is The Renegade Reporters by Elisa Brent Weissman. This is a super cute middle grade book about 3 friends, Ash, Maya, and Brielle, who leave their school news show behind to start their own underground news. The girls stumble upon a huge story. Van Ness Media, who provides the school's software, as well as sponsors the school news, has been secretly gathering data from all the kids at school. The girls become renegade reporters to find out what's going on and to expose Van Ness Media. I love this story, especially the diversity. Ash had 2 dads, and it just blended into the story nicely. It wasn't like pushed as an agenda. It just made it very normal, which is how I love to see diversity come across in stories. I gave this one 5 stars. Okay, so to break down the month and how I did. First read along was Say Kevvie's, which I completed. Next were the 3 challenges for the Killing Time with Cozy's book club. First was to read a book recommended to me. Next was the read along that we're all doing. And the last challenge was to read a new to me author. I completed all of these challenges as well as the read along. Next was the Bob's Burger Readathon, which was hosted by Racheal Fryman. I will leave her, as well as everybody, in the description down below. For hers, I will leave a little check mark of what I did complete for her readathon. I got my bingo. Next was Mid-Year March Mystery Madness, also called Subgenre September. I read 1 book for that. That was one I was just doing for fun, but I'm glad I at least got to cross something off that list. Next was to read my book spin number 3 book. Completely failed at this one, didn't get to it. Try to add it before the end of the year. I don't even want to say for October because I don't know if that will happen. And last was the Magical Readthon, where we had to follow the novice path to get to the entrance of Aurelium Academy, and I will also leave here my checklist of how I did. We only had to complete 2 of the prompts. I did 6 out of the 7. So that's it. Not too bad for this month. I didn't read exactly as I planned. I was able to make it work regardless, and I just didn't get to the book spin book. Overall, I'm still happy with what I got done. How did you guys do on your reading challenges for the month of September? And what are you looking forward to for October? Please let me know down below. And until next time, I'll see ya.